Hi everybody, this is foXnoMad, and today I want to help you travel smarter by looking at the DJI Mavic Mini, which is a new drone that was just released yesterday, to let you know how it might affect your travels, especially if you've already got a drone or you're looking to get a drone, because this Mavic Mini really has a lot of features that are focused on travel. So to give you a quick recap, if you saw my video last week about the state of DJI drones, you know that there haven't been a lot of updates to the standard DJI consumer drone line. You've got your bigger, more professional drones like the Phantom and the Inspire series, and those are on the high end. Then you've got these great series of drones, which are sort of their entry-level pro drones, which are the Mavic series. So you've got the Mavic 2 and the Mavic Zoom. You can still get the Mavic 1. And then you've got the smaller end drones, which are really made kind of for everyday use. And that includes drones like the Mavic Air and then the Mavic Spark. And now we've got the DJI Mavic Mini. And the new Mavic Mini that was just released is about the size of an iPhone. It's tiny and its weight is really important, but I'll get to that in a second. So I think DJI has learned a lot about what people want from their drones, what features they want, and what are the actual compromises that they're willing to make to put out a new drone. So looking at all of the specs of the DJI Mavic Mini, there's an important thing to note that it's not a Mavic replacement. So if you've already got a DJI Mavic Pro and you kind of want something smaller but something just as capable, the Mavic Mini is not it. I think the technology is certainly headed in that way, and probably within about 2.5 years, we'll get something like a DJI Mavic Pro quality in the size of a Mavic Mini, but right now that time isn't here. So what the Mavic Mini is doing is it's really replacing the DJI Spark in a lot of ways. So the DJI Spark was this ultra small, can fit in your pocket style drone. It was very light and very portable. That was the main feature of the drone. It had all these little cool features, but you couldn't take the little arms off. So it was always kind of in this spider mode where the arms were sticking out. So it wasn't as ultra portable, or it couldn't be made as compact as like the Mavic, which has those foldable arms. But if you take a look at this Mavic Mini, what it's done is it's got, first of all, those foldable arms, which is great. And it's just a little bit smaller than the Spark. But what really matters for travelers is that it weighs only 249 grams. So the Mavic Mini weighs only 249 grams, and there's a very specific reason why DJI put it at 249 and not 250. And the reason being, first of all, in the United States and a lot of European countries, 250 grams is sort of the cutoff weight for the difference between whether you have to register a drone or you don't have to register a drone. If you don't have to register a drone, that makes your traveling a lot easier. Even if you live in the US or you live in a place where 250 grams is that cutoff, you don't have to then register your drone, and you can use it a lot more easily in a lot of different places. And I know from updating DroneMate, which is my app which shows you all the drone laws around the world, updated in real time, links down there. And I know from updating DroneMate that 250 grams is a pretty standard weight limit that's being implemented pretty much around the world. 249 grams with the battery means that you don't really have to register the Mavic Mini. It's also important to note that that 249 grams doesn't mean that there are no rules on your drone. That doesn't mean that you can fly over crowded places, over people, over stadiums, and so on. That 249 grams generally means that, one, that you don't have to register your drone. It doesn't come with a lot of series of complex registrations. And some of the other limits might not also apply. But in terms of flying at night, keeping the drone within your line of sight, those rules, the altitude rules for sure, all of those things are still going to apply for that 249 gram rule. Where it applies specifically for international travel, 250 grams is often the import limit. So for example, in a lot of countries, if your drone is less than 250 grams, you don't have to pay import fees on it, import taxes, and you can actually import it in a lot of places where they would otherwise confiscate the drone. Being smaller also, it's less conspicuous, so there's that kind of side advantage. And 250 grams, the drones that are heavier than that, they're usually obviously larger than the typical Mavic Mini. So because they're larger, they might draw more attention, but often 250 grams is also that import limit, which means that you might have to pay taxes when you bring your drone into a country, and a couple of other countries just won't let you bring the drone in at all and will confiscate it at the airport. And 250 grams is often that limit between you can bring your drone in and taxes, and you can't bring your drone in, and taxes. But all the other rules and obviously common sense always apply when you fly a drone. Don't fly over people, don't fly over objects like government buildings or stadiums. Whatever the rules are in a country plus common sense, those rules will still apply no matter how big your drone is. Now obviously you should check the rules, but that's an important distinction to make, and that cutoff really distinguishes between what a lot of countries consider a drone and a toy. And again, this drone being so portable obviously has a lot of other features for travelers. And what DJI I think has learned from the Spark and maybe from the Mavic series is that people don't really care so much about all the various sensors. So first of all, the Mavic Mini doesn't have any front avoidance detection sensors. So if there's a tree or something in the way, you could easily run into that. It doesn't have the hand wavy gestures. And my guess is probably they saw that a lot of people just didn't use that in the Spark. They didn't use that feature in the Spark, and they changed the physical features of the DJI Mavic Mini to have those foldable arms because portability is really important to a lot of people. I know that if I could get the features in the Mavic Mini that I have in the Mavic 1 even, I would definitely replace the drone just for the portability of it, just to cut down on the amount of gear that I carry. As it stands right now, the Mavic Mini only can do 2.7K at 30 frames a second, which is still great. But if you're used to shooting in 4K and you've already got all this drone footage in 4K, it's probably not worth it to downgrade to the Mavic Mini. The DJI Mavic Mini costs $399, and that comes with the drone, remote, a battery, a couple of propellers, charging cables. But if you travel very frequently, you probably want to get the Fly More combo, which includes a case, among a couple of other accessories and extra batteries for the Mavic Mini. Now, if you want to go ultra portable light, then what you can do is just get a drone sleeve from DJI, and that will cut down on the case, but then you've got to get another case for the remote controller, and it's probably just easier to get the combo and the case from DJI, which will allow you to put all the accessories, the extra batteries and everything into a single carrying case. The Mavic Mini though for travelers does come with a pretty great feature, which is 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes of battery life. And if you watch a lot of the reviews going on right now, a lot of the battery tests that people are doing, it seems to come pretty close to 30 minutes of flight time, which is a major jump up from most drones, which can only fly about 10 to 15 minutes under normal conditions. So it seems like the weight limit and the battery life are the things that DJI is focusing on, and those have specific implications for travelers. One thing that I really wish the Mavic Mini would have, I wish it would say bold 249 grams on it somewhere, maybe just right on the top or underneath. That would look kind of more official, so that when you go through airport security or in your country where you're flying it and somebody stops you, or maybe the police stop you or something, you can kind of show them. So it's important to note that a lot of countries, a lot of the authorities don't even know what the rules are for drones specifically. They might know that drones aren't allowed and they might confiscate your drone. So you always want to be very careful. So for example, in DroneMate or in the free version that you can find on my website, there are a lot of people there giving their real life experiences which tend to differ from the actual laws. So even though it's 249 grams, the authorities might see a drone and just confiscate it or fine you and not know those specific rules and those laws. You can carry the rules and the laws around with you. If you want, you can get those PDFs. Those are also in DroneMate. And I think in a lot of other countries where droning may be legal, or droning, they have that 250 gram rule, but people aren't so worried about the little details. I think you're going to have a lot more trouble as far as a traveler, that the authorities are going to stop you and not care that it's 249 versus 250. And even if you have a copy of the laws on your phone or it's in a PDF printed out, I think you still might have some trouble. And if you're set on flying your drone in a place where you know that the limit is 250 grams, I would highly recommend that you get those PDFs. DroneMate has all of them where they're available, like I said. Have those on your phone ready, or even print them out just in case somebody does stop you and says you can't fly here, or you need to register the drone, and so on. And if you can show them the actual rules, then that will go a long way to making your case and maybe getting you out of some hassle. But for a lot of places right now, 249 grams gets you a lot more flying time, a lot less hassle with registration. So that's good news for drone flyers. But I think that 249 gram limit is a big step. It's showing us where this is all headed. So if you got 2.7K right now in a drone that's 249 grams that can fly for 30 minutes, I think in a year or two, we're gonna get that 4K drone that's probably 245 grams, maybe even just a little bit smaller. And it's gonna get a lot of those Mavic Pro features down into the Mini. And I think that is a really good thing for travelers, especially if you want to travel with the drone. It makes getting all this great footage from all kinds of natural environments a lot easier. You can take all these creative selfies. And for right now, if you're shopping for a drone and you don't have a drone at all, then I would say probably if you're not interested in the more professional features, then the Mavic Mini is a pretty good way to go. But I honestly think it's more of a first adopter type of product. I would love to see it a little bit more polished. And I think the turnaround between the Mavic Mini 1, which has just came out 2 days ago, and the Mavic Mini 2 is probably going to be pretty quick. If you've got a Mavic Pro, and unless you've got major back issues or your bag is just completely stuffed and you really desperately need some extra space and you don't care so much about 4K, then it might be worth it for you to get the Mavic Mini. But I think for most people, it's probably right now a good idea to just wait and see where all these mini drones go. The Mavic Air and the Mavic Spark were slightly disappointing for various reasons, and the Mavic Mini hasn't been out long enough for us to get really a good amount of feedback into how it works in the real world and what the drawbacks are, how the durability is. But I think it's a step in the right direction. And if you want a drone right now, if you want the best beginner drone you can get, that's the Mavic Mini. If you've got the Mavic Pro, stick with that. And if you're kind of on the fence about drones, you think you might be able to wait a while, it's not something you need right away, you're waiting for kind of that perfect pocket-sized drone that's going to do a whole bunch of cool stuff, then you probably should wait until sometime in 2020. I think that drone that we're all waiting for, that perfect small drone that can do 4K, have all these sensors and have all this motion tracking and all that stuff, I don't think that thing is too far from 18 months away from right now. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the DJI Mavic Mini and how it applies to travelers specifically. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll have new videos for you every week. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And one other thing, I'm gonna drop 10 free codes for drone-made iOS and Android down in the comments below. It'll be pinned at the top. Those are first come, first serve, so make sure you grab those and you can get a free version of DroneMate right now. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.